There's no business like the sports business, and we do it every Sunday. It's the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show. And 2 weeks from today, Deshaun Kaiser will be your starting quarterback, the University of Notre Dame product for the Cleveland Browns. He got the job. You've seen him in person. Are you shocked, Greg Diolis?
Not after the performance on Monday night. He looked used to say presidential. He looked like a starting quarterback. Looked like a guy had some poise. Took charge. Even noticed that after they scored a touchdown and they came off field after kicking the extra point, he went out onto the field to greet the offensive linemen when they were coming off. He looked like at that juncture he knew that was going to be his team. He had taken control of that thing.
So for all of you Cleveland Brown fans that will be tailgating at First Energy Stadium, put whatever you're doing on a Kaiser roll.
There you go.
All
Kaiser
right.
Wilhelm, huh, Bobby?
Kaiser Wilhelm.
Looking forward to the Cleveland Browns and Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger got a little play, as did Antonio Brown. But when you think of Julian Edelman getting hurt, it's another argument of why put anybody in a substance during the preseason. It almost just doesn't make sense. These guys work out all year long. So maybe Le'Veon Bell's got the right idea.
Bobby?
Well, it was a non-contact injury. I mean, he just planted his foot, was going to make a cut. Injuries are going to happen regardless. But yeah, maybe is Le'Veon Bell going to be able to learn the new playbook in time with maybe 3 or 4 practices? That's a question.
Until the paying public doesn't have to be paying for these games, you better play some of these guys at least some of the time, Rob.
All right, listen, the way we're strategically placed around Bob Dvorak, it looks as though we're ready to send him back for round 2. Like we're the men in his corner. And last night, the men in the corner happened to be Floyd Mayweather's father, Floyd Sr. And today, I'm sure they're still partying. They made a whole lot of money. Observations of the fight that actually was a fight, Greg.
I was really entertained by the fight. I thought it was really good. I was not expecting McGregor to be as good of a boxer as he was. I thought that he came out, he looked like a pretty good, polished performer at boxing, which I wasn't ready for, although in retrospect, I think Mayweather just let him punch himself out because he got to the 10th round. It looked like all of the gas was out of his tank. His arms were down, and he was ripe for picking, and then he got pounded.
And a little bit of trivia. A heavyweight fight in Pittsburgh at the then Civic Arena had Larry Holmes from Easton, Pennsylvania, I think possessing the greatest jab in the history of the heavyweight division, against the up-and-coming fighter by the name of Ronaldo Snipes. You were there.
Ronaldo called me Mr. Snipes, and he knocked down Larry Holmes. And Holmes had a big fight set up down the road in Las Vegas, and everybody just went nuts because Holmes' title was in jeopardy. His undefeated streak was in jeopardy. He rallied and finished that round and won a decision. So I thought that was, ringside at a heavyweight title fight. That was pretty special.
Bob, was Holmes on a snipe hunt that night?
Whoa, he went right there with that.
But guess who was ringside? The great Howard Cosell. Did you know that?
Yeah, he was, and he was making fun of Myron Cope. The reason I'm sniggering. When you had Cosell and Cope in the same building,
Big time.
calling the fight, that was special.
All right, Pirates. So obviously, last night Garrett Cole gets a homer, and they win 1-0. Still a whole lot of real estate between them and first place. They take on Chicago starting tomorrow. Cincinnati today. Where do you go once the season's over? Do you stick and stay the course, or do you start thinking winter meetings and a big deal to take you to the next level, or at least get you back to square one to start looking to the future? Where is this franchise?
Well, I do think they entertain the possibility of a big deal because we talked over and over again that what they really need is that rare commodity, a big thumper bat in the middle of the lineup. Now that's been missing for like forever. So you have to give something up to get a talent like that.
How about last night's game? Garrett Cole with kind of like living the dream of a little leaguer. You pitch a great game and hit the only home run that causes you to win the game. It was like watching the Little League World Series. The best player on the field.
And his first win ever against Cincinnati, which is kind of head shaking, isn't it?
It is.
Pitt football coming up, Youngstown State. But you're happy about A
Happy
better
about-
idea of Ford, but not the automobile.
Happy about Paris Ford, young fella who has some Oakland connections. His dad, we called him Boo, from South Oakland, and a kid who's going to come in. And Narduzzi talked about redshirting him. I think that's a lousy idea. You're only going to have this kid there for 3 years anyway. You got to play him, and he will, I believe, be playing. Whether he's starting at a defensive back position early on in the year, I don't know, but he gives you so many things. He's so fast, so elusive. This is a kid that can help that football team.
And closing him with Whitehead out the first three, he could really be a big dividend.
Absolutely, yeah.
Greg Diolis, Bob Dvorak, the Bambino behind the camera, and yours truly, Rob Pratt. Have a great rest of your Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us.